No, just very ordinariness. I like that very much. So he woke up by that the mind simply stopped. Yeah. And he didn't try to stop it. It just stopped because he was laying there and didn't know what to do. There was no movement, no desire to go anywhere or do anything. AUM pervades everything.
But
Yeah.
what does it mean that the mind stops?
What?
What does it mean that the mind stops?
Thinking and experiencing, sensing, feeling, all stops. And in the beginning, there may come a very strong glimpse of it and all disappears. And there's only AUM, there's only this.
Okay, the whole world disappears.
Yeah, the whole world is also the mind.
Shit.
It's also thinking. It's also Maya. It's very deep in us that the whole world is real. But no cool, no, how can it be unreal? The astronaut flies to faraway stars. They just fly away in their own mind. It's all consciousness. Spend some time on it sometimes and say, well, what does it really mean? All is consciousness. How can the farthest star also be consciousness? It must be real. But it's something you are perceiving, it's something you're experiencing. And that's consciousness. You don't perceive a star in itself. You have an experience of a star. And what is an experience of a star? Mental consciousness. You are not seeing another person in itself, or a tree in itself. No, it's an experience. And that's consciousness. Spend a little time and meditate on what I say, because it's very important that intellectually you also kind of understand it a little bit. That it's not just mystic. It's really so. And that's why I compared it with the empty hole in the universe. That whatever I put into it, it disappears. And this beingness, what you truly are, this AUM, what you put into that, it disappears. And everything comes out of it. Right in the end. And when you touch the pure sense of who you are, you cannot say what it is. But it won't be long before it explodes into a feeling. Happiness maybe, love, another feeling, or it explodes into a feeling of the body, or an experience of another body. It's that takes form of everything. And that is the only thing there is. But you must understand we are brought up in such an unconsciousness, believing that there is an outer world that is more reflected, more or less precise in our consciousness. That is the very deep belief that we have way back to Descartes in French. Res cogitans og res extensa. Res cogitans og res extensa. These are two substances that are totally different. Res extensa, that is matter. And res cogitans is thinking. That's how he defined it. And science, very much empirism, took over this distinction and never dropped it. Even though there have been many challenges. So we believe, or we learn in school that there is an outer world, and that we can reflect this outer world more or less precise. That's very normal to believe that. That is empirism. That is scientific understanding in our society. And the outer world, you can reflect it more or less precise. And of course science tries to reflect it as clearly as possible. So if two people can have the same experience, then we say that we can deal with this experience. A science dealing with experiences. And that's why science for many years did not see psychology as a science. Because you cannot verify an experience as an inner experience intersubjectively. You cannot verify it. It means you cannot have many people to see the same experience if it's something in you. So for many years, these kind of experiences was not scientific. It was only the objective world. But listen, it goes on. And it's because these people never learned to look into themselves. Niels Bohr did and Schrödinger did, but it never took off. So, everything that can be verified intersubjectively is something we can deal with in science, because we believe there is an outer world, not the subjective world. And so that's how it went here, very much. AUM is beyond all this. AUM is the soundless sound that is creating the whole world you see. But the whole world you see is consciousness. Also the subjective. It's experiences. Nobody has found the objective world. Nobody. There was a very strong tradition also called physicalism that believed in it. Very strongly. And again from England. It came very much from England. Germany somehow went more into consciousness. There were more, if you look at these guys, I often mention them, Schopenhauer and Kant and Goethe and Nietzsche, and they were more concerned about the subjective and more about consciousness, not so much of the objective world. And Schopenhauer and Kant did not believe in an objective world. Kant said, Erscheinungen and Ding an sich. Erscheinungen, it means that what appears in consciousness. That which is visible, Erscheinungen, German. And Ding an sich, we don't know what that is. What is the thing in itself? So that was a very strong, and it actually gave rise to the Romantic movement, this kind of thinking. That you believe more in the subjective than in the objective. That was the very much the Romantic movement. AUM, it's a sense of a being. See if you can feel it. That has never started and never stopped. It's there all the time, underneath. The closer you come to it, the more you feel silence and happiness. And when you become it, you are in bliss. When you realize it, that I am that beingness. I am the AUM. So many meditations has been created to try to bring out this AUM. We are maybe singing AUM, AUM. Come along for a moment. AUM, AUM. can do it in our own speed. Then you say it inside, AUM, not loud. You use it as a mantra. Just find your own way to repeat it inside and come into the vibration. Feel the vibration. Ah. Oh my God. Swamiji, behave. He's sitting there and jumping and making sound. Meditate on the sound. AUM. Ah. And then you don't do anything and you just listen to the sound. Because it goes on inside you, in the silence. Just listen. Ah! Oh my God. Yeah, listen to the sound. It's the unstruck sound. Never started, never stops. It's the sound of your being. The sound of truth. It's that sound that explodes into all that can be experienced. It goes on all the time. You must have done this meditation with me sometimes. We can do it a little later. That we sit 10 minutes chanting AUM loud. Then we stop and start using it as a insight, as a mantra. And finally, we just listen to the sound. We don't do anything. Oh, it's very powerful. Let's do it in a little while. AUM or AUM pervades everything equally like space. Yeah. Within it, there are no distinctions such as high or low. The low, the formless, unmanifest, manifest as form. How else should this imperishable, imperishable show forth its light. How else should the imperishable, that which cannot come and go, show forth its light? So it's all AUM. And it explodes into an objective, we call it, and a subjective world. But it's still that. It just appears as something else, what we call the world. And most people have no idea about anything else but the subjective world and the objective world. They have no idea about what really creates it. Of course, in Christianity we say it's God, and then we are far away from it. Islam also Allah. Judaism, the same stuff. In India it's non-dual, but more or less, of course. But in Advaita it's Atman, Brahman. First, when we become silent, we have a sense of existing. We cannot deny that. That Brahman. No language, no labels, no words, just a pure sense of existing. It's very close to absolutely silence. And suddenly it becomes Brahman, the absolute. Thou art that, the scripture proclaims. Thou art that one's own self affirms. You are beyond all diversification, the same self in all. Why lament then, O mind? I am the same self in all. And again, be carefully with the self. It is Brahman, but we have no words for it in English. So we call it self with capital S. Because it's very, very tempting to make it individualistic. That this self is individual. And it's not. It's not individual. It's not a higher self or a soul or all this nonsense. It's Brahman, the absolute, the only thing that truly is. And it's the same in all. And what is all? It's when we are having experiences and we call it many, 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 many. But it's just appearance. In reality, it's only one. It's yourself. Beyond high and low, I'm the same self in all. Beyond inner and outer, I am the self in all. If there is only the one, I am the same self in all. Why lament then, O mind? I am the same self in all. When you fall in love, also romantic love, and you come very close to the partner, maybe you start embracing each other and start feeling each other's heart. Then it's so comfortable that the future stops and the past disappears. And you start feeling so blissful. You start feeling in oneness with your partner. Here again we are close to it. That's why we go around and could I not find someone I could really love and be close to. And we are looking and looking, but we could actually just wake up inside ourselves and we will know we don't need another body to fight with, because it doesn't take much time before this other body starts criticizing us and arguing and separating, and we say, oh, I miss you, can we not find a way to meet again? And oh, so again we can sit and embrace each other and be silent and love each other. This is again, here we come into it. It's so obvious. And I don't say you should not find a partner to meet like this in oneness, but you can do it without a partner. Because it's your nature. Beyond high and low, I am the same self in all. That's when you feel when you sit with somebody you really love. And mostly you will hear the woman say, shut up, to the man, because he can't stop talking. The women are usually more in touch with it. But men go, ba 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 ba, and she says, stop. Stop and feel me, for God's sake. Feel me. Because she knows she's closer to it somehow. I've seen it again and again. Men cannot stop this computer. Beyond inner and outer, I am the same self in all. If there's only the one, I'm the same self in all. It's one without a second, remember? Not one as different from two. When we say one, we cannot understand one in itself without implying two. It's not two, we say. One is not two. That's how the dualistic thinking is built in opposites. We understand one compared to two. Then we know what it is. No, this one here, feel that. It's not. It's one without another, one without two.